Another day of New York Jets training camp is complete, and according to reporters, Justin Fields' performance significantly improved today, with the preseason kicking off for Gang Green in just 2 days. Is the offense turning a corner? We'll talk about that and much more all coming up here on a Thursday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk, joined by the great Matt O'Leary, baby. Let's go.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Samini, Jets reporter for The Athletic Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
What is going on, New York Jet fans? Hello, everyone, and welcome back here right into another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk, coming to you guys live right here on this Thursday evening, August 7th, 2025. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe on your way into the building. It's completely free, and it helps us grow significantly right here on the show. Questions, comments, thoughts, throw those in the chat. Make sure you guys could call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Appreciate your support as always. Super chats, memberships, they get you raffle entries. Our membership raffle occurring on August 15th. We'll get you more info on that later in the show. Appreciate all your support as always, though. Connor Long right here with you guys on NY Flight Jets Talk, and joining us right now here on the show as he typically does every single Wednesday, but something terrible happened to his YouTube channel yesterday. So he was lucky enough to fit us into his schedule right here on this Thursday. Matt, it is good to hear that you are alive and breathing after what has happened to you. For those watching who do not know, share with the audience this travesty that occurred yesterday.
Yeah, my life flashed before my eyes as my Google and YouTube accounts were hacked. In the process of getting that back and straightened out, just got the computer back from the Geek Squad, had to get that all cleaned up. But working on it, hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed, back in action. But just shout out Purple Belt Mike, big time Jet fan. He's a big supporter of all our channels. He was a big help for me as well in this process.
Love to hear it, Matt, and I'm glad to hear that everything is ultimately going to be okay with your channel. And what happened yesterday, obviously some super scary stuff. And I don't know if everyone in the chat will get it, but I certainly understand the stress of that, being a creator and how hard it is to build a platform, especially to the caliber that you've built yours. So super happy. Everything's going to be fine, Matt. Another day of Jets training camp is complete. And these past few days, it's really been emphasized by the reporters at camp how much this offense has struggled, how much Justin Fields has struggled to command this offense. And today it looked like Justin Fields turned a corner. He went 8 of 15 with only one interception. That interception came on a tip drill off of a drop pass today. So seemed that Justin Fields significantly improved today at training camp, and it looks like Justin Fields will start the game on Saturday against the Green Bay Packers, as the Jets will play their starters on Saturday against Green Bay. Matt, I know we spoke about not so much pushing the panic button with Fields, given that it's just training camp. Are you going to put any stock into his performance on Saturday?
I mean, I think we just want to see the passing offense look functional, right? Like, I don't think anyone has these dreams of the Jets being an air it out, style of offense where they're going to be top 5 in passing attempts this year. But I would just like to see him kind of get in a rhythm and have the Jets offense move the ball. I think, I'd be a little concerned if, they play 2 possessions and they're 3 and out both times and he's like 0 for 3 passing or something like that. Like, that's obviously not ideal. We'll see how long the starters play. I'm glad that they are playing in this game on Saturday, but from Fields, I kind of just want to see him get in a rhythm and, have a couple nice drives.
Matt, with Tyrod Taylor dealing with a knee injury, it remains unclear whether we will see him on Saturday. Aaron Glenn has kind of been very vague with the updates he's been giving the media regarding Taylor. What do you think the quarterback usage is going to look like on Saturday? We'll say between Fields, Adrian Martinez, and Brady Cook, assuming that Tyrod's not able to go.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be mostly Brady Cook and Adrian Martinez for this game. I don't think we see a ton of Fields. Like I mentioned, maybe like 2 possessions, but I think the second preseason game against the Giants is when you're going to really see the starters get more of a run, and maybe they play a little over a quarter in that game. So if Tyrod's not good to go, then they'll likely go to one of the other guys between Brady Cook or Adrian Martinez for the rest of the half. And then maybe I would assume the other guy, whoever it is, ends up getting the second half.
And I completely agree. I think you should see starters for at least one series in every preseason game. Obviously, we think of all the injury concerns that could come with it because being Jet fans, Matt, your thoughts always go to the worst possible scenario, whether it's preseason or whether it's the Super Bowl. So there's obviously the injury stuff that is to be worried about. But overall, I think you should see starters in every single preseason game for at least one series, kind of get them acclimated ahead of week one, especially for Justin Fields, Matt, because he's still learning a new offense. The Jets are tailoring an offense around Fields, and he's still learning that. I think it's super important that he gets some obviously live in-game action with that new system as he continues to acclimate and learn it. Obviously, you can make a case for the joint practices, but there's something to be said just for that in-game environment. Is there anyone you're tabbing who's not a starter who you want to look out for on Saturday as they push for a roster spot?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to say a positional group, really, instead, not one guy in particular, but like the depth wide receivers. So I'll give some names there, but Xavier Gibson, Malachi Corley, Brandon Smith, like who from that group, Jamal Pritchett, is standing out? Because I think the top like 3 to 4 guys are pretty much locked in. And then it's really up, to them who's going to set themselves apart from the pack for the final, 2 spots probably on this roster. I don't really have a feel just yet on who that's going to be. I know that like Brandon Smith's been a popular name that's been talked about a lot. I know, Malachi Corley feels like it's an uphill battle at this point, but, in-game situations always kind of bring out different things from different people. So I think we really need to look at the next 3 games, what these guys look like in game action.
I'm going to look at the secondary, Matt. I think this is going to be a very, very competitive unit this year. You look at a guy like Qantas Stiggers, who was a draft pick from last season. He's battling for a roster spot. Same goes for Jarek Bernard Converse, who's been riddled with injury throughout the entirety of his career. Someone who's caught my eye following along with reports from training camp is Ryan Cooper, the cornerback the Jets picked up after they released Kai Kroger. So I think the secondary is going to be very competitive, and that's the position group that I'm really going to hone in on Saturday. Matt, every year with the Jets, we have, a group of guys that are easy to root for, guys you want to root for and see succeed. Preseason kicking off here in less than 3 days. Who are your guys on the 2025 New York Jets?
Yeah, one of them, I mean, you were just talking secondary, but like Malachi Moore, right? Because there's an open spot next to Andre Sisco for a starting role. And I think Moore has the chance to win that job. And as a day 3 pick, I know that this is a guy who played at a big time school at Alabama and was a very popular name amongst Jets fans during draft season. But still, it's a day 3 pick, and it's not often you see that those guys come in and start right away. So that's one of the guys that I'm really rooting for this summer. I think that was my favorite pick from them on day 3. And I do think he has a chance, as I said, to earn that starting job. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on him.
The unofficial depth chart, Matt. I know it's all about having guys earn their job and have to work their way up. I understand Mason Taylor is a rookie, but Jeremy Ruckert over Mason Taylor. Are we joking here, Matt? I love that AG preaches competition, but you start crossing a line there.
I'm not buying it. It's giving me Bryce Hall vibes over Sauce Gardner in 2022.
Garrett Wilson. Who was Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver 2 or 3 to his year? There was
like Elijah Moore, Corey Davis was there.
Davis, Rashad Perriman earlier on. Yeah, there was a whole slew of guys there. I mean, I remember when Rashad Perriman at a point was the creme de la creme of Jets wide receivers, which is never a great thing to see. Where do you see this wide receiver room ranking in the league towards the end of the year? Because we always talk about how tight it is competition-wise behind Wilson. Where do you see them ultimately finishing out around the league?
Not very good outside of Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson will do his, pretty typical 1,100 yard season, hopefully more from him this year. I think he's going to be the focal point of the offense, but I don't know if there's, we're going to see a ton of production from wide receivers 2 through 5 or 6 or however many there are, right? Like, again, if this is an offense that passes for 4,200 yards every year, then sure, we could talk about guys. Maybe you get your wide receiver 2 with 800 yards and your wide receiver 3 with 600 yards. I don't think that's how it's going to go. I think most of the yards are going to go to Garrett. I think Brees is after that. And then you see guys like Mason Taylor and Josh Reynolds tightly packed after that. But we're talking like very minimal usage for pretty much anyone else, I feel like.
Shout out to all you Jet fans tuning in right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. Matt O'Leary, Connor Long, right here with you guys on the show. Questions, comments, thoughts, throw all those in the chat. We're going to get to those. Call into the show with the pinned comments. Super chats come up here immediately. Lou B, baby, drops in with a $5 super chat. Let's go.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
That's the new membership drop, Matt. I wanted to show you that. That's what we got a great amount of memberships this past week. So I was watching the Fields video, and in anger, I was like, I got to save this clip for later. I got that. That's going to be the new membership drop here on the show. So the new membership drop inspired by you.
I'm honored to be a part of the show in that way. I think it's a great clip.
Absolutely. And, super frustrating that day. That day is a day that I will never forget. Whether Justin Fields, it's going to be funny. At the end of the year, whether Justin Fields goes up in flames, we're going to be like, remember when we were crying that one day of training camp when we thought he tore his Achilles and he dislocated his toe and he just led us to a 4-win year? Whether they, are 13-4 and hoist the Lombardi, and we're saying, thank God Justin Fields didn't tear his Achilles. With the Jets, it's typically the first option, but you always hold that hope there. Lou, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Get you 2 raffle entries right here on the show. Appreciate your support. This is Connor. Matt, who's going Tuesday versus the Giants? P.S. We still need one big trade. Matt, will you be at the Giants preseason game? Joint practice. Joint
practice. Yeah, I will be at the practice on Tuesday. So hopefully get to see you out there, Lou. I don't know if we're going to see a trade. I know that there's a lot of positions that the Jets could add at: wide receiver, defensive line. Those kind of stand out to me. Maybe tight end beyond Mason Taylor. But I would think the Jets are going to be hunting the waiver wire, not really necessarily packaging future draft picks for veteran players.
That's what I was thinking at punter too, Matt. And then I looked around, and there are only like 2 teams, I think, in the league that carry more than 1 punter on their 90-man roster right now. And I think it's the Broncos, and the guy who's going to make it is like Matt Hack, someone who is a veteran who's done nothing. So I think we're inching towards a point where Austin McNamara is really going to be the starting punter on this team this season. And I understand it's the punter position, but still, I don't think that's something that's being covered enough, given that this guy has no experience, has really struggled throughout camp, was cut ahead of the preseason last year with the Bengals. Like, this could sneakily become an issue. You hope you don't get to that point. Special teams has killed the Jets, especially last year, but that could sneakily become an issue down the stretch if McNamara is not able to acclimate.
No, 100%. You're 100% right. It can be an issue. I think the Jets are at a spot right now where they view that as maybe a little bit further down the pecking order of concerns, which, if you're a team that's trying to compete for a Super Bowl, yeah, you need a really good punter. You need a really good kicker. Like, special teams really matters. But in year 1 with Glenn and Muji, I don't know if they really view this as a year where it's like, oh, you got to have, like, that's why you retain Thomas Morstead, right? And I love Morstead. I would have rather kept him, to be honest with you, especially because you have the cap space to do it. But I understand it. The Jets want to get, they want to get younger. They're turning over the roster a little bit. Hopefully he's the guy, but if not, then they'll try to find somebody next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button, hit subscribe. Matt and Connor right here with you guys on the show. Super chats, memberships, get those in the chat. Raffle occurring on August 15th. Should have happened a while ago, and then we decided we're going to take a break from shows in the dead period. But August 15th, membership raffle will occur. Wayne Corbett, Lavernius Cole, Santana Moss signed photo, Don Maynard signed photo, Altoon signed photo, free item for our merch store, channel emoji, and then the grand prize, which is a Sauce Gardner signed photo coming in a frame. So super thankful for all our raffle entries. Keep them coming. Super chats, memberships, they get you entries. Appreciate all your support right here on the show. Questions, comments, thoughts, throw those in the chat. We'll open it up Q&A style now for the rest of the show. Kyle Clifton says, why does Beastbreaker think he's better than me? Matt, you were on Jake's show today, right? I was in the chat briefly, but I think I missed this lore that Kyle's referring to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big Kyle Clifton fan. Is he inside? Is he outside? Beast is an interesting character, man. You don't want to get on his bad side, but I don't think he should think he's better than anyone.
Yeah, I don't know. I missed this, but I'm not surprised. I mean, how many were there any crazy Beast lines that I missed while you were on the show today?
I don't know about crazy lines, but people were photoshopping or photo AI generating.
That happens every show.
Yeah, Beastbreaker. officiating my wedding. So that was really the big story from today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is Beast invited to the wedding, or are we still figuring that
Not
out?
his invite might be lost in the mail still at this
Okay.
point, so TBD.
There we go. Alan says, excited to see my boy Alt play left tackle in 2025. Man, good day not to be a Chargers fan, Matt,
Yeah,
with
that really
Slate
stinks.
Slater injury.
You
Yeah, like
see
I used to not care about other teams' injuries, but it's like just even seeing that today, I thought like matches that happened to like Olu or Membu, like the pain I'd feel. So I feel it for Chargers fans today.
yeah, that's tough, right? But thankfully they have someone like Joe Walt who could easily make that transition.
Kyle Clifton, did I see Cole Laval as second string left guard? You probably did. You probably did on the unofficial depth chart. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that wouldn't surprise me. Cole Laval's agent, Matt. Shout out to Scott Campbell, Cole Laval's agent, great guy. Was in my chat on Cutdown Day last year, and
Okay.
asked me if I thought Cole was going to make the roster. And being the honest man that I was, I said no. But ever since then, knowing that Cole's agent is a subscriber of the channel and loyal viewer here on NY Flight Jetstock, I've always rooted for Cole. So I don't know if he's a second string left guard caliber player at the NFL level, but you root for him. I mean, he's him, Xavier Newman, like it's a case to be made if the Jets carry 10 offensive linemen. One of those two guys could certainly be in the mix. I mean, someone's name I haven't heard a whole lot is Chukwuma Okorafor, the polarizing free agent right tackle. The Jets signed this offseason. So, like, a guy like Newman or Cole Laval could certainly make a push there. I mean, Linder Weigan is also someone I like, the German player who I think it was 38 bench press reps he did at his pro day, which was unheard of. I mean, those last offensive line spots are still up for grabs.
Yeah, they definitely are. I don't think it's written in stone. I would think, Josh Myers will make the team as a backup. I would think Okorafor also. I know it's been a quiet camp for him, but with his starting experience, I feel like he's going to end up sticking around. But outside of that, I feel like it's up in the air for the last 2 or 3 spots.
Absolutely. And I think it overall depends how many offensive linemen they have. I think in my 53-man roster prediction, I got to pull it up on my Jets X Factor WordPress here. I think I have them rolling with 9 offensive linemen and then 11 defensive linemen.
Okay.
I'm big on the trenches here. I know some people have the Jets carrying 7 wide receivers this year. I've seen that tossed around a little bit. I don't see it, Matt. I think you have a better chance of rolling with 5 than you do 7. When you look at it overall here, I'll try to. Yeah, here's my 53-man roster prediction sneak peek here. It should be coming out in a few days. Yeah, offensive lineman, I have the Jets carrying. Obviously, you have the front 5, Olu, AVT, Tippmann, Simpson, and then Membu. The backups, I have Myers, Okorafor, Newman, Carter, Warren. And then I have Cole Laval on the practice squad, then Linder Weigan as the international player, like Obina Eze's kind of been able to be stashed on the roster as that international player pathway program, I think it is, player. That's what I have the Jets doing with Linder Weigan. How many trench players do you see them counting this year, Matt?
Yeah, somewhat. I think I was at 9 each for defensive line and offensive line. That sounds about right, what you just rattled off right there. The only thing I might add is I think Max Mitchell might have a better chance than Carter Warren just because he can also play guard. And I just wonder if that's something that they value more, keeping him over a guy like Carter Warren.
Like he can play guard, but he's unwatchable at tackle. I mean, let alone see him what he's done at guard. I've given up on Max Mitchell. I've said I give up on Max Mitchell. I think I give Carter Warren 1 more year. Like that's personal preference. Defensive line, I have McDonald, Quinnen, Leonard Taylor III, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, Tyler Barron, Byron Cowart, Peyton Page, Eric Watts, Rashad Weaver, and Jay Tufele. Someone I wouldn't put in there personally, but someone the Jets have spoken really high of.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a name that didn't make my initial 53 roster prediction, but he's been talked very highly of by guys like Steve Wilkes. So I wonder if he has a better shot than maybe we think.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Asman, baby, coming in and making it rain with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Jake. And Matt has a special message.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
Jake, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate all your support here on the show. Thank you so much for always tuning in, always supporting the show. Appreciate you as always, my friend. Gifted a membership to himself. Cantu Ringe gets a membership. Smoky Cat 9 Lives gets a membership. Gilbert Farmer gets a membership, and Edward Ariza. You all receive channel memberships. Thanks to the great Jake Asman. Jake, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs here on the show. Appreciate your support as always. And he says, you love it, O'Leary. You love it, Connor Long. Whoa, family show. That was Matt's call in that video, Jake, not mine.
This is true, but you did clip it and use it for your own. So it's partially you to blame too, Connor.
Sorry about that. I flicked off of StreamYard as I was trying to switch tabs there on the show. So I'm sorry for the glitch there. I was trying to switch tabs and I flicked it off there. So Matt, that was your choice of verbiage, not mine. So we'll blame it on you there.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take it.
Jake, you're the best, my friend. Appreciate your support here on the show. When you look at the linebacker room, Matt, how many guys do you see there on this team? Because you could make a case it's wide open behind Sherwood and Quincy. Obviously used a 5th-round pick on Francisco Mauigoa. He's going to obviously make the team. But where does he slot in? Marcelino McCrary-Ball is someone who's stuck out throughout camp, has been a special teams piece over the past few years. Jamin Davis, former 1st-round pick. What's the linebacker room look like this season?
Yeah, so I think the 3 obvious ones are the 2 starters and the draft pick this year, Mauigoa. I would include Davis because of his pass rush ability as a blitzing linebacker. And then I think the 5th spot's between either McCurry-Ball or Zaire Barnes. They seem to really like what McCurry-Ball's done, and he gives you the special teams upside. I had Zaire Barnes on mine over him, but that could be something that changes over the few weeks, depending on usage, right? Like we're going to see in the preseason games how much they like these guys.
So my linebacker room actually looks a little different right now. Obviously, you have Quincy, you have Jamie and Sherwood, you have Matt Mauigoa, the 5th-round pick you selected this year. I have Jamin Davis and McCrary-Ball closing out as the final 2 linebackers, and I have Jackson Sermon staying on the practice squad. Thing with Zaire Barnes, he's someone who's dealt with a ton of injury. My biggest thing is this coaching staff has shown us no indication how much they love Zaire Barnes. We haven't seen much of him defensively throughout training camp. We've kind of seen him as a special teams piece. I think if McCrary-Ball is able to develop into someone who can play more defensive snaps for you, he has the ability to be an okay linebacker 3 at the NFL level. And then personally, I'd rather take the upside on the 1st-round pick pedigree of Jamin Davis than roll the dice on Zaire Barnes for another season, Matt.
Yeah, and I think that's totally fair way to look at it, right? Like you have the upside as a former 1st-rounder, plus what he projects to be as a blitzer. I think that could be very useful in this defense.
We've made it this far, Matt. We'll close it out. Final 2 position groups. Quarterback position. I got Sauce Gardner, Brandon Stevens, Zaria Thomas, MC2, Isaiah Oliver, Qantas Stiggers making the team, Jarek Bernard Converse, Ryan Cooper, Chris Boyd, all going on the practice squad. I think Stiggers here is the fringe guy because this Chris Boyd shoulder injury opens up a significant opportunity for him to contribute at the gunner position as well. We know Stiggers is an avid contributor on special teams. I think JBC could keep on the practice squad without another team poaching him. Same goes for Cooper, and I think also for Chris Boyd. So that's what I think you're looking at the cornerback room.
I had the same 6. I think I might have had Boyd as well. That might have been before the injury. I can't remember the timeline. But if he's healthy, I think he'll make the team as their like special teams ace.
Absolutely. Safeties. How many got and who are those guys?
Yeah, so Andre Sisco, I have Malachi Moore, I have Tony Adams, and Jalen Monroe was my 4th.
Yeah, so I did 3 safeties on the active roster, and I put Jarius Monroe on the practice squad. I put those 3, and I put Monroe on the practice squad as of now, just because I don't think you have to use a roster spot per se on a guy like that. Like, it depends on how he performs in the preseason, Matt, because obviously we've heard great things at him in practices, but if he continues to ball out throughout the preseason, then maybe you consider using a roster spot on him just to kind of play keep away and keep him off the table from any NFL team swiping it up. But I think you go with 3 there, and then on special teams, you got Folk, Hennessy, and McNamara? Is that what we're looking at here?
That's exactly what we're looking at.
There we go. No drama on special teams, although it could turn into that during the season. There's no lingo when it comes to, the kicker, the so-called kicker competition between Harrison, the thicker kicker. Is it Mevis or Mevis? I've been saying Mevis. I don't know what it is, Matt.
I don't know either. I think I say Mevis, but hoping on the broadcast we get a better answer.
I know you don't follow basketball, Matt, but as a Nets fan, their 8th overall pick, who I have to talk about every day, Yegor Dioman, has changed his name pronunciation 4 different times. The Nets drafted Yegor Dioman, Nolan Traore, Ben Sroff, and Danny Wolf. So Danny Wolf's the easy one, but and Drake Powell being the 5th guy. So you have Nets took 5 first-round picks, the first 3 of which you can't even pronounce their names. So pronounce their names. So super frustrating there. Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us right here on the show. Matt, do you have time for a couple more comments here before we let you go?
Yeah, I can do a couple more.
Awesome. Alan comes in, says Jets should leave a CB in Green Bay and take a wide receiver in return.
It'd be nice. I would be open to that. I don't think it's crazy likely, but I think Allen has, good logic with that thought process.
Anyone but Dontavian Wicks. Don't need another guy with brick hands. You need someone. You have Alan Lazard for that. Like I remember watching. I was writing so many articles about how bad Alan Lazard was week by week last year and 2023. I remember going into PFF every single week and looking at the drop rate, and it was always Lazard and Wicks. That's how I knew who Dontavian Wicks is, because he led the league in drop rate. I would have had no idea who he was if he wasn't on that chart. So give me Christian Watson, sure. Give me Romeo Doubs, absolutely, but not Dontavian Wicks.
Yes.
Alan, other than Garrett, this might be the worst group of pass catchers in the sport. I mean, I can't think of any other team. To be fair, off the top of my head, I probably couldn't list out 6 wide receivers really on any other NFL team. It's definitely near the bottom. I'd say it's bottom 5, definitely.
It's definitely bottom 5. Might even be generous, but it might be bottom 3. It really gets into preference at that point, right? Like, but it's fair. Outside of Garrett, there's a lot of question marks with these receivers, and Reynolds didn't really have a great year a year ago. I know injuries played a factor in that, but yeah, they're taking a bit of a gamble.
Absolutely. CJ Gardner-Johnson torn ACL confirms, Alan. So injury bugs in training camp. I mean, first, it's the first time I think I've said the Jets caught a break with Justin Fields.
Yes,
look
so
around and
far.
see all these injuries.
Absolutely.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us here on the show, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. We're going to wrap up right here on the show. We're back tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST, so certainly stay tuned for that. Then Saturday, we got live pre- and post-game coverage here on the channel. Stay tuned for that. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. Matt, thank you so much for sparing some time for us, as always, despite the horrid chaos that you've had to deal with these past, 24 hours now, 30 hours that you've had to deal with this. So thank you so much for fitting us into your schedule, and looking forward to doing some pregame coverage with you in the regular season this year. That should be fun.
It's always a blast. Looking forward to get back into that, but absolutely. Thanks for having me, Connor.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's Matt O'Leary. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone, and as always, JTS, baby. Jets, Jets, Jets. Peace out.